of the amp. How did we design it and why? I'm not going to be able to answer that in technical terms. I know that all I did was communicate to Doug what I was after. And he very patiently listened to the descriptions that I gave him verbally, and at times I'll probably end up sounding like Joni Mitchell. I want it to be a little more blue, that kind of technical jargon that I'm so adept at. But it was a byproduct of me saying, here's what I like. Here, listen to this part in this one solo on Fillmore East that Dwayne holds this one note, and it goes up into this upper harmonic feedback, and it's not a very dirty tone. That's the magic. That's what I want. And also, I was like, I equated it to when we made the DGT guitar, and I spent a year coming up with those pickups. The benchmark for that was these PAF pickups that I had in a 59-335, and there was undeniably just magic stuff that went on in these pickups where this upper harmonic stuff would kick in. And so we talked about how do we get that kind of swirl, that magic into these amps. But I was very adamant, along with the fact that it wasn't going to be an AC30 clone just because it was 30 watts, about it has to be, the EQ has to be in a musical range. And so technically, I don't know how to describe that, but we would take, at each step of the way, we would pull out like a Plexi 50 or even on a Tweed Deluxe, and we would just see where we were, in terms of these classic amps and where their frequencies were. But again, the preamp doesn't just talk, I don't think you're just asking about how much treble, how much bass and everything. You're talking about the amount of gain. And there is, for me, for my style of playing at least, and for the amps that I've always wanted to find, and that occasionally I would get to play through one, there's a sweet spot in the gain spectrum where the taper on the volume pot allows you a gradual increase in gain, and I've always preferred a cleaner sounding gain where it's not like a fuzz box. I've got a distortion pedal on my board if I want it to be grittier and fuzzier. But I was adamant about the tube rectifiers being in the amps, and it's the only PRS amps that have tube rectifiers. But at the same time, I've owned several tube rectified amplifiers that when you take it out on a gig, it just sags too much and it goes away. You can't hear it through the band. So it was a lot of these different sweet spots of letting the tube rectifier give me a little bit of compression, just enough compression, but still having a firmness to it, and then combine that with the preamp that where you can dial in low end and the bottom notes are tight, and at the same time the top notes are creamy, so that there's never a note that jumps out too far or is painful. And so, I communicated all that to Doug. We A/B'd it against all these other amplifiers, and I think that when we finally landed on it, and after I played, 50 to 75 gigs with the last version, I felt confident that we'd kind of gotten to a very, very musical place. And it was just a question of musicality. How does it feel in your hands? And are the frequencies right? And will it feed back in a super musical way with those beautiful upper harmonics like a great PAF pickup might have? So all those things were part of the equation. I just got to say that I am the luckiest guitar player on the planet, in my mind, to have had this opportunity to work with Doug and with PRS, to be able to do this. I got to do it with a guitar, now I get to do it with an amp. It's like, I'm very, very honored to have had this opportunity, and I hope that other people like it. I don't know. I hope some people play through it and it can inspire them. It's inspired me a lot. I feel like, I'm selling a lot of amplifiers. I've sold a lot of amplifiers. I've got the amps, my dream amps now. So it's a musicality and feel. That's how we designed the preamp.